So this is question tag. Take a shot at these. Let me know what your answer is. Now, when solving questions related to question tag, 3 things are important, right? The subject first, which is you. The auxiliary verb. So what we have here is a verb phrase, may not have heard. Now, even though may is the first auxiliary verb, which is a modal auxiliary verb, we cannot reference it in the tag. We cannot echo it in the tag. We have to use have. Now, the third thing is if the statement is positive, the tag has to be negative. If the statement is negative, the tag must be positive. Now, here, the statement is negative because of not, the presence of not. So we can easily eliminate option B and D because we can see not, right? So we have to choose between option A and C. Final answer to this question is option C, have you. Now, examiners usually test question tag in 2 different ways. The first is forming the question tag, which is what we just completed, the previous question. The second is responding to the question tag, either by agreeing or disagreeing, which is what you need to do now. So, answer this question in the next 5 seconds. When responding to a question tag, you need to concentrate on the statement. The statement is the most important thing. If the statement is negative, your response will be negative. That is, if you're agreeing. If the statement is positive, your response will be positive. That is, if you're agreeing. Do you understand? Now take a look at this. He isn't coming home. This is negative. Our response will be negative because we are agreeing with him, right? So it is no, he isn't. We agree with the statement. Now, if you're disagreeing, then you can say yes, he is. Okay? Now, if our sentence were to be, he is coming home, isn't he? We'll focus on the statement, he is coming home. This is positive. Our response will also be positive. Yes, he is. If you're disagreeing, then we can say no, he isn't. So final answer to this question is definitely option B, no. So this question tests your knowledge of emphatic stress. So take a shot at this. I would like to know what your answer is. Okay, so your options are questions, right? That means we need a question that makes the emphasized word the missing information, the contrasting information. So the implication of this is to eliminate options with the emphasized word, that is but, or any form of buy, buying, but we need to eliminate them. Okay, so we let go of option A and C, and then we are left with what? B and D. Okay, so the best answer to this question is option B. Why is it B? Why not D? Now, if you take a look at option D, how will the student get the book? It is emphasizing the method. But did the student steal the book? It is emphasizing the action. No, the student bought the book. Okay, so that's why option B is the best answer to this question. Okay, so final answer is option B. So this question tests your knowledge of antonyms, it tests your knowledge of the meaning of words, your vocabulary, and finally it tests your knowledge of contextual meaning, context. Okay, so give this a try. So the key word in this sentence is though. Now, though is a conjunction, unlike some other conjunctions. Though usually show contrast. Some other conjunctions like but, yet, nevertheless, however, they usually show contrast. Now, what does this mean for us? It means that the 2 words that will fill the blank should have contrasting meanings, should have opposite meanings. The first word should contrast with the second word. Now, let's go to the options. Option A, okay. Okay is a positive word. Optimistic is also a positive word. Optimistic means expecting something good to happen. Now take a look at option B, promising. Promising means likely to be successful in the future. This is positive. Now take a look at nostalgic. Nostalgic is you're missing something about your past, right? Option C, rosy. Rosy means bright. When we think of rosy, we think of bright. It's a positive word. Now look at pessimistic. Pessimistic means expecting something bad to happen. Now, option D, dicey. Dicey means uncertain. This is negative. Unsatisfied. This is also negative. It means not satisfied. Okay, so we can easily eliminate option D and option A because option D are both what? Negative. Option A are both what? Positive. Now we are left with option B and C. The final answer to this question is option C because rosy is positive, pessimistic has a negative meaning. Now, some of you will be quick to select option B, and that's because these two words look like they are contrasting or they have contrasting meaning. But in this context, no. Okay, they belong to two different ideas, and this is where context comes in. Now, let me give you a simple example. If I say, oh, the weather is sunny, though people are tall, does it make sense? Sunny and tall in this sentence does not fit. Okay, it doesn't make sense. Same as promising and nostalgic. The future of the company is promising. It references the future. And in the same sentence, you're describing a nostalgic future. A person is not usually nostalgic about the future, okay? It doesn't make sense. So the best answer to this question is option C. So this one's for you. Choose the word that does not have the same vowel sound as the others. I want to know what your answer is. Now, option A, the word is loot. Letter O represents the long vowel sound O, right? Option B, boots. Letter O represents the long vowel sound O, right? Option C is route. Okay, OU represents the vowel sound, which is a diphthong ow. Okay, route. And this can function as a verb or a noun. A noun meaning a defeat, and a verb meaning to defeat completely. Okay, now option D is pronounced route. I know you pronounce this word as route, but route is the American pronunciation. Route is the British pronunciation, right? Route meaning a way to follow to another place, right? So you need to pronounce it as route, and you need to understand what your examiners are expecting. WAEC, JAMB, they usually expect route, okay? So it's the same pronunciation as root, right? A part of a plant. Same pronunciation, okay? Route. Same as schedule and schedule. You need to know what your examiners are expecting. They're expecting schedule, not schedule, right? So final answer to this question is option C, route, because it has a different vowel sound, which is a diphthong ow. So I like this question. I really like this question, and I like it because it looks like an opposite in meaning question, but it actually tests your understanding of context more than antonyms. When we speak of context, context is a powerful skill in comprehension, if not the most important. And so for students that I teach privately or personally, I don't approach comprehension like it's another section of your exam. I don't do that. I am usually very detailed, and I am a strong advocate for educational reform, especially changing the way your exams are set. So when I see questions that test your understanding of context, implied meaning, inference, writer's tone, writer's attitude, and all of that, I am usually drawn to them. I mean, this cannot be compared to GCE in any way, but it's not bad. So enough of the yapping. Let me know what your answer is. So the keyword here is famous, and famous is to be well known. So if you are not well known, then you are unknown, right? You are not familiar, you're not recognized, you're anonymous. So these are the direct opposites. Now, if you memorize for your synonyms and antonyms, this question might just come as a surprise because these words are not in your options, right? But we can do something. Right? Famous artist is a good or positive thing. It has a positive meaning. It has to do with a good reputation, right? So we can easily eliminate option A and B because these are also positive words. They have positive meaning, right? So we are left with C, D, and E. Now, to be famous means to be well known for a good thing. And like I said, is in the context of a good reputation. So we need a word that would describe a bad reputation, and that is notorious. Notorious is to be well known for a bad thing, and we speak of notorious criminal, so notorious is the answer to this question. We can't use wicked because wicked is used in the context of morality. So if we had is a good artist or is a kind artist, then we can think of wicked because it is in the context of what? Morality, right? Option E, hostile. It is used in the context of attitude or behavior. So final answer to this question is option C, notorious, because it is in the context of reputation. So this question tests your knowledge of reported speech. So take a shot. Let me know what your answer is. Okay, so when a reported speech expresses a universal truth, a fact, saying, proverb, the verb must remain in the simple present tense. Now, nobody's going to tell you that, oh, this sentence is a universal truth. You need to figure that out on your own. Okay, so this sentence is a scientific fact. Okay, the teacher explained that plants dash carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, right? So this is a scientific fact, and we need to stick to what? Simple present tense. Now, option A is past tense, option C is present perfect, option D is past perfect. The only present tense here is option B, absorb, and this is the answer to this question. Now, note, if it were to be plant without the plural marker s, then we have to go with absorbs. But here we have plants, and so final answer is option B, absorb, which is a plural verb.